Hello everyone, I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to The Audio Analyst. Today, I'm happy to present the first of my reports from the 2025 High End show held annually each May in Munich, Germany. Sadly, this was the last such event to be held in Bavaria, as the High End Society has announced that they will move the event to Austria next year, where it will be hosted at the Austria Convention Center in Vienna, May 28th through the 31st. What has become known as the High End Society, the association responsible for organizing this show that has grown to become the largest and most significant annual high-performance audio show on planet Earth, is now 43 years old. The concept was born in Dusseldorf in December of 1981 by a committee of about a dozen industry professionals, including the late Dieter Burmester. The Society's original name, which translated loosely as the Community of Interest for High-Quality Music Playback and Reproduction, when it was founded in 1982, was eventually changed to the more fitting High End Society in 1990. The very first show was held in August of 1982 at the Intercontinental Hotel in Dusseldorf, Germany. In 1983, the following year, in an effort to differentiate themselves from a competing audio exhibit set in Dusseldorf, they moved the event to the Kempinski Hotel in Frankfurt for the next 21 years before relocating to the MOC Exhibition Center in 2004. As such, the High End Society's event is also the oldest show in Europe, and as I mentioned, is 43 years old. This year, 2025, marked the 20th event to be held at the MOC, the Munich Order Center in Munich. Keep in mind that both the 2020 and 2021 events were unrealized in reaction to the COVID-19 pandemic. The massive Munich Order Center was built in the early 1990s and hosts something on the order of 120 events annually. Just a 30-odd minute ride on the U6 train heading north from the main train terminal in the heart of Munich at Marienplatz, and coincidentally just one stop south of the Allianz Stadium stop, the MOC is an enormous campus of 4 glass and steel halls. Halls 1 and 2 are single-story buildings. Hall 3 has 2 stories, and Hall 4 has 3 floors. Hey, baby. How you doing? The entire complex has something like 1,500 underground parking spaces and offers over 325,000 square feet, or nearly 7.5 acres of exhibit space. I have had the pleasure of covering this event several times, both in print and here on the channel, and all my previous coverage is linked in today's description section. I might suggest that you take a look at episode 175 from May 19th, 2024, as it presents a very real sense of just how large the MOC is and what an epic annual event this show has become. Today, we will hear from Audionet CEO, Dr. Stefan Schwehr, and their head engineer, Finn Engelmann. I've had the pleasure of knowing both gentlemen since they joined Audionet in 2018. Today, they will talk about the latest additions to the Scientist series of Audionet products, the Mach line stage and Schrödinger monoblock amplifiers. Let's hear what they have to say. Welcome, everybody. We are here on Thursday at the last Hi-Fi Munich. We're outside the MOC with the CEO of Audionet and the lead engineer of Audionet, Stefan Schwehr, and Finn, I forgot your last name already.
Engelmann.
Thank you, Finn Engelmann. Now, you guys recently introduced some new products that I think represent one of the most important introductions you guys have done recently, and that is the Mach line stage and the Schrödinger amplifiers.
Now they are in my house right now, running and being ready for review. Thank you very much. But can you talk about, Finn, if you can talk about the engineering changes, because my previous reference is the next step down, the Maxes and the pre-G2. And then the step was from about 50,000 to about 150,000 to go to the Stern Heisenberg, which I reviewed as well. But this comes in nicely in the middle, provides the lion's share of what I heard from the original Stern Heisenberg combination. But if you can talk about the business that went behind that, if you can talk about the engineering that it took to get us as close to that level as possible, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I think it should start a little bit about the story, about the history of these two pieces. Yeah, and the history has to do with you, or better say, with our relationship to the US.
Okay.
Yeah? I was talking, now it's more maybe 3 years ago, that our distributor did Parrish in the US, and which you know very well.
Oh yeah.
And we're always thinking how to bring Audionet further into the first row, and how to improve also the sales and the business. And he always said, yeah, you have these Maxes on the PG2 which are very well reputed.
Oh, they're excellent.
Overall the world. I have this in Germany, I have this in the US, and it's very well reputed. But it's also, we got this, if you look into all these records, we have this for almost 20 years. To be frank,
yeah,
20 years, and on the one side, the people are happy with that because
Absolutely.
they are so good.
Absolutely.
Now the other side, it's very mature, and since we're talking about the Stern and Heisenberg, which are also now several years in the market.
But
really, this wasn't only one step beyond. It was maybe 2 to 3 steps in the right direction to bring Audionet in a level where maybe others were already at that time. So Bill and I we were talking about, we need something in the middle, and
so it's not so drastic a jump in finances to move from to.
Not so drastic, and also to fit into the living space that the people have. This doesn't mean that Stern and Heisenberg cannot reside in a living room.
They are pretty good sized pieces,
but often you have them with our very large speakers.
Sure.
And so we thought to find something also together with speakers in that height, let's say 1.20 meter in that height. So what sometimes the people have at home. So and to benefit on the other side from everything was what made Stern and Heisenberg good, be it the design, be it the sound, be it the speed, which is really a very step beyond into another level. So everything was done in Stern and Heisenberg, and then take the best of both worlds, the Maxes and the Heisenbergs on one side, and the PG2 and the Stern on the other side. This was our intention. And then we started almost 2 years ago. So and this, I think, I should give the word to Finn a little bit, talk about what we have done.
Yeah, in terms of engineering, it's always very difficult. I mean, in the audio industry, it's not always that you can roll the field up from the basics. So what we have at Audionet are very special circuits.
Sure.
Very special key things that we have, of course, like you said, in our Maxes and in the PG2, but a little bit from former times. So what we now did, we really brought those pieces to a level like the Stern and the Heisenberg is. So these devices are made a few years ago, and with a little bit of tweaked circuits, a little bit of redesigned circuit boards. So, for example, there are some features that you can develop when you have a 4-layer circuit board. Sometimes it really helps the performance, as well as the space that you have in the whole amplifier. I mean, if you open up a Max and you look inside, it's completely full. There's not a square inch space for something. So what we did in the Schrödinger, we took mainly the the outside dimensions, and we thought, so how can we put everything that we have in mind very well together and in an improved way. For example, at the Schrödinger, what we did very similar to the Heisenberg, that we have the rails for the loudspeaker outputs and the ground rails, which are oxygen-free copper with gold-plated. We have the bigger power supply, and everything is well fitted into the case, so it is really a very good cabling inside. It's not so tight, but it has the shortest possible
Paths for
the currents, of course. And for the Mach, of course, it was a bit more in terms of what has been done, because the development was completely new in terms of the circuit board. So it was very much time that you fit everything. What one can see is, of course, that the structural dimensions inside and the PC boards, how they are located, it's very similar to the pre-G2, which does not mean that it's like in pre-G2, but it's actually a complete new board from scratch.
Sure.
So, Greg, this all very good explains why you and Bill said that you experienced the Mach and the Schrödinger more similar to the Stone-Heisenberg combination than to the pre-G2 and the Maxes.
That's exactly when I went to Bill's to do the first listen, when the products had first been released. The first thing I said to him was, these are much more like Stern-Heisenberg than they aren't. They were so close. So I was quite happy to have that audition. I'm quite happy to have them in my home now for the review. I look forward to giving you my feedback sometime very soon, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Ben, thank you so much for this. I really appreciate your time, buddy.
Greg,
Dr. Schwehr,
thank you very much for
My
having us.
My honor.
Always a pleasure to talk to you.
My pleasure entirely.
Yeah.
Folks, stay tuned. We've got more coming from Munich.
My deepest thanks to both Stefan and Finn for finding the time to be with us during this busy event. As mentioned during our conversation, I do have these latest Audionet machines, the Mach line stage and the Schrödinger mono amplifiers, in-house for my audition and full review. And while I did not have the means to acquire the world-class Audionet Stern line stage and Heisenberg monos that I reviewed for the Absolute Sound in issue 306, the July-August 2020 issue, not only do they remain my benchmark for accomplishment in audio electronics, but I have kept my previous Audionet reference electronics, the pre-G2 line stage and Max mono blocks, for direct comparison. Watch for that review in print and on the channel in the near future. Over the next few weeks, we will be hearing from other manufacturers and seeing tours of several of the exceptional systems that were highlights of my time during this last Munich high-end show. As always, thank you for taking the time to drop by today. Further information on supporting the channel may be found in today's description section or at my companion website, theaudioanalyst.com. Please stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next time, cheers.